You wake up feeling good until you open social media. Someone's doing better, smiling more, looking more spiritual, and suddenly you feel small. Sadhguru says comparison is a quiet form of violence against yourself. It doesn't shout, it doesn't hit, but it eats away at your energy, your peace, and your connection to your true self. In this video, you'll discover how comparison blocks your spiritual growth and how to quiet this shadow before it dims your inner light. Comparison rarely shows up looking like the enemy. It disguises itself as motivation, admiration, even spirituality. Sadhguru warns that the danger isn't in noticing others, but in losing yourself while doing it. You start inspired, but little by little, what was once a reference turns into pressure, and their light starts to dim your own. You think you're admiring someone, but deep down you start feeling not enough. Why are they already there and I'm not? She meditates better. They're more pure. Comparison becomes a warped lens that only shows you what you lack. And the more you measure yourself by someone else's life, the less you value the one thing that's truly yours, your path. That's the poison of comparison. It doesn't kill fast. It drains you little by little. You keep practicing, but your heart feels closed. You seek growth, but with guilt, urgency, and shame. And where comparison exists, presence disappears. All that's left is expectation, anxiety, and distance from your soul. Comparison comes from a hidden pain, feeling like you're not enough. Sadhguru teaches that it's the ego demanding to be better, or at least to look like it. When you see someone calmer, more evolved, or more recognized, your ego feels threatened. It doesn't react out of malice, but out of fear. Fear of not being seen, not being validated, not having an identity. That's when comparison starts to drain your energy, because it doesn't come from your real self. It comes from your ideal image. You don't want to be whole. You want to be accepted. You're not trying to grow. You're trying to prove your worth. And behind that drive is a painful belief that you only matter if you're more than someone else. But your soul doesn't compare. It doesn't want to compete. It just wants to bloom in its own time, its own way, with the light it came here to carry. That's why noticing your ego is the beginning of healing. When you observe without judgment, when you feel without reacting, the ego starts to lose its grip. Comparison might seem harmless, but it comes with a high cost. Sadhguru says that every time your attention drifts from yourself to someone else's life, your energy scatters, and that scattering costs you. You lose clarity, focus, and your connection to your own path. It's like trying to plant a tree while staring at your neighbor's garden. Nothing real ever grows. Even worse, comparison kills intuition. You start making decisions based not on your truth, but on what seems right or worked for them. Your connection to your soul weakens. Your inner stillness turns into self-judgment. Your spiritual journey turns into a race. And suddenly, you're chasing goals that were never meant for you. That's the cruelest part. Comparison doesn't just drain you, it disconnects you from your purpose. You keep moving forward, but without joy, without authenticity, without presence. And life, which should express your essence, becomes an imitation of someone else's. That's why real awakening begins the moment you stop comparing and start listening to one voice, your own. The cure for comparison isn't ignoring others, it's honoring yourself. Sadhguru says every soul is walking a unique path. You can't measure your journey with someone else's timeline. And once you finally accept your rhythm, your process, your nature, something beautiful happens. Comparison loses meaning, and karma begins to dissolve. The ego wants speed, proof, attention, but the soul wants depth. When you trade rush for presence, you realize you're right on time, even if it feels like you're behind. You start to see that what takes time matures, and what matures lasts. So honoring your own rhythm becomes a spiritual act. It tells the universe, I trust. And when you trust, karma no longer has to push you with pain, because now you get it. You're aligned. You act not out of comparison, but from clarity. The energy you once spent trying to be someone else is now focused on becoming fully yourself. And life, which once reflected frustration, now starts to reflect truth. When comparison drops away, what's left is the real you. Not the version trying to be better, more accepted or more evolved, but the quiet, whole, present being within. Sadhguru teaches that spirituality isn't about becoming something. It's about stopping the distortion. And comparison is one of the subtlest distortions of the ego. Once you stop measuring yourself against anyone else, you start to bloom, in your way, in your time. The energy that once pushed you to keep up now helps you go deeper. And in that depth, your gifts, intuition, and clarity begin to shine. You don't have to prove anything anymore. Just live in truth. And that truth is magnetic. It's light. It's free. That's real freedom. Not wanting to be someone else or the better version of someone else, but giving yourself full permission to be you, with your seasons, your silences, your light. And when that happens, comparison fades, the ego quiets down, and your soul finally breathes. And in that silence, you realize this is what your energy was craving all along: permission to just be. You don't need to chase anyone, you just need to come back to yourself. Comparison disconnects you, but presence rebuilds you. Watch now. Overcome fear, anger, and anxiety. Sadhguru reveals the secret to beating negative emotions. This video will help you break free from the energy that quietly sabotages your growth. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep walking this journey. Your path doesn't have to be the fastest, it just needs to be real.